when I decided to launch our first private equity fund, this was after 4 years of creating a firm, creating RP Capital as a private equity firm. We launched it in 2021, and it was after 4 years of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of real money. It's not monopoly money. From 2021 to 2025, this year, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure we had the right SEC attorneys, the right consultants, the right tax strategists, a team of attorneys that you need to do this kind of stuff, and to make sure that we could successfully not only launch our first fund, but to make sure that we can be examples of what group economics looks like, to be examples of what socioeconomic empowerment looks like. It doesn't just look like you talking about it or you throwing some headlines out every once in a while on social media. It looks like we have real people who have taken real money, who have pooled those resources together to acquire businesses, to partner, to merge, to do business with people, and to build something and to continue to grow on it. We're just getting started. There's so much more that we can do. And again, even if you're not in a position to be a part of a private equity fund, it still doesn't mean that you can't elevate your consciousness and your conviction for that today and start being intentional about, well, if I don't have money to invest in a fund or to really put financial resources into something, what do I have? What can I do? That's what these call to actions are that I'm going to share with y'all, because again, these are some of the same call to actions that I was intending to give last week when we had our ministry and marketplace mixer after my State of the Union address. So number one, let me go back through them and then I might be able to unpack them a little bit. Snoop said, reminds me of the saying, if you give a man a fish versus teaching them how to fish. That's right. I mentioned it last week. We need more than just a mentality to say, oh, we're going to give somebody a fish sandwich. I don't want to just take you to the lake and catch fish for you or with you. But I want to sit down and say, listen, we like fish sandwiches. We got reeling rods and nets, and we got a lake that we can go fish at. But how about if we learn how to become fishing gear manufacturers? How about if we put a whole conglomerate together and we own the grease that the fish is fried in, the flour, the meal, the pots and pans, the lake that you catch the fish, the manufacturer who creates the devices that we use. That's where group economics comes in at. That's where the socioeconomic conviction comes in at, because you're not going to be able to do it any other way, particularly for those of us who are in the Black community. And then when you add the layer of the Black faith community, we're never going to do it independent of each other. It's just not going to happen. We have to be able to do it together. And somebody has to be at the helm of that. Somebody has to be at the forefront, and other people have to get behind it and say, no, we're going to support this. We're going to talk this. We're going to demonstrate this, and we're going to push this agenda. We have to be willing to do that. That's why there's a such thing as uh, Black Wall Street, Greenwood, and every other movement that we've seen happen, which, by the way, these movements were directly tied to Black churches, to people of faith. They were all people of faith. These were not Black atheists. These were not Black sinners, people who didn't know God. These were all godly people who received divine revelations, no different than what I've received to do what I'm doing. I was just telling somebody this the other day that, listen, I did not. It was a pastor asking me about, like, how did you end up in this particular arena when you are a prophet and a pastor and you're called to ministry? I said, because I heard God and I obeyed God, and I knew that entrepreneurship was a vehicle to economic freedom. I really believe that. I believe that small business ownership was the next level of maturity from entrepreneurship. And I received further revelation that using vehicles and mechanisms like private equity and these types of strategies would be the gateway to create a $1 billion conglomerate so that we can literally say that we've done something ourselves and we can do that together. So here are the few things I want you to use as call to actions. Again, first thing that's not even on the list is elevate your elevate your awareness. Okay, ask God to show you like what role do I am I do I to do am I supposed to play? What role do I play in this social economic revolution within the next 5 years? I'm just rewording it to help it make more sense to you. Ask God to show you what role do you play in the economic revolution in your immediate community. Because we could talk about all this stuff we want to do with other people, but we ain't doing it with other people. I'm always of the conviction and of the belief that I'm not waiting for other people to figure out what I got figured out. I'm just going to figure it out. And then the people who are around me, I'm going to talk to them and let them know what I figured out to see, does anybody else see what I see? And if somebody raises their hand and say, I see it, let's go then, let's make it do. And then we'll keep talking about it until somebody else raise their hand. And eventually the people who don't raise their hand will move their feet and get out of the way and new people will come in. So it starts with us. We don't look for these other, phantom people to come in. So that's number one. Ask God to show you that. Like for the next 5 years, what role do I play in this group economics within the community that I'm a part of? How do I play a role with my skill? How do I play a role with my time, with my money, with my resources, with my business? What role do I need to play? So that's what you need to ask, number one. But in terms of this list, here's what I have as number one. You must commit to executing a reverse engineered exit plan without interruptions. Okay. So again, all of this should be a part of group economics. If you just look at the next 5 years of your life, you should be convicted and convinced that what I want to accomplish in the next 5 years, I'm not going to be able to accomplish just by myself. More than likely, I'm going to accomplish this because I am connected to the right people. I'm rubbing shoulders with the right people. And again, I'm not talking about all these people outside of our community because I go into these rooms and in these circles. I learn a lot, I get a lot, but what do? I get it and come back because I already know they not going to do it with me. They don't even see it the way I see it. So I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse trying to get people outside, whether they white or black, to see what I see and believe what I believe. They don't share the same values and views for many different reasons, whether they're white or black. So I got to come back to my tribe, to my ecosystem, to my community and say, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Anybody else seeing this? Here's what I'm hearing. Anybody else hearing this? Here's what I'm doing. Anybody else in on doing this? And then we come together and then we start building on that.